More than 40 Air New Zealand flights have been cancelled this week as cabin crew prepare to go on strike over paying conditions. This is for your long-haul international flights only. Cancellations are expected to affect thousands of customers. Joining me now is Air New Zealand's Chief People Officer, Nikki Dines. Nikki, good morning.
Good morning.
So, what is it that you're not giving the cabin crew that they want? More money?
That's what it's come down to. So we've been working together for months and we've gone through a lot of different claims and agreed on all of those things. It's now just down to pay.
What's the difference in how much you're willing and they're willing to go to?
So the pay increases we've offered are between 4.14 and 6.41%. So they're still asking for more. We don't have an exact figure from them on base pay, and we're also working through allowances. And
right, is that over 1 year or how many years?
it's for year one. We're looking at a 2.5 year deal, so there's further increases in years 2 and 3.
So you're ahead of inflation on base pay. Why have they not given you a number for base pay that they want?
They've surveyed their members. I think it's probably a question to ask them, but they've surveyed their members and they've got a range of responses. So next step for us is to go into facilitated bargaining. And
does it make it hard though to negotiate with someone when you don't know what their hand is?
Yes, it's hard to find a solution. This is a tricky one. We've been at this for months and we're getting closer. And the next step, like I said, is facilitated bargaining. So that will help us, I think, to work through what the gap is.
What's the difference between a long haul in terms of what it costs Air New Zealand and skills required, etc., between a long haul and a short haul? Is there much of a difference?
There's not a huge difference. So ultimately, it's a service customer facing kind of role. They all have to learn all of the regulatory requirements, emergency procedures and things like that. So it's a different type of flying for them, but ultimately there's core similarities in the roles.
Nikki, so we got this right, 40 flights this week are cancelled.
That's correct.
How many customers affected by that?
We've had about 16,000 affected, but some of those are just timing changes. So for all of the customers who have been impacted, we've contacted them, and the first step is to look at how we reaccommodate them either on different dates or on different airlines. And then if that's not feasible for them, they are entitled to either a refund or a credit.
Do you know how many at this point are going to go down that route?
No, I don't have that number.
Okay.
We're just working through.
And if you don't resolve this week, more disruption? I mean, tell me, if I'm thinking about flying internationally on a long-haul journey from New Zealand, why I should bother booking in New Zealand in the next wee while?
So at this stage, it's just these 2 days, and we still have some flying that's continuing, including flying to Shanghai. We have some cargo-only flights for exporters. And then we go into facilitated bargaining. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, we will be spending time in the room with the Employment Relations Authority. And if the union does choose to take more strike action, they need to give us at least 14 days notice. So we do have some time to be able to prepare contingency plans, because ultimately we want to make sure customers are looked after and we get them to where they need to be.
All right, Nikki, appreciate you coming in this morning. Thanks for being with me. Nikki Dines, who's the Chief People Officer at Air New Zealand. Listening into this was Craig Featherby, Flight Attendants Association New Zealand. Craig, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Can you answer that question, why you haven't given Air New Zealand a base number or percentage for year one in terms of what you want to be paid? How are you meant to bargain if you don't have the chips on the table?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a bit of a correction there, Ryan. There's 2 unions representing wide-body cabin crew that fly the long-haul routes. And actually, in the mediation process through MB, we actually did come back with some numbers there. Obviously, the numbers may be a little bit higher than what Air New Zealand would like to pay. However, there were numbers sort of given to the company at the time.
Right, so you've given numbers for your lot. What were the numbers? Nikki's just told us 4.1 to 6.4 for year one.
Absolutely, and look, those percentages sound great. As we know, the New Zealand economy is struggling overall with inflation at 3.1%. However, even with those numbers, that will only just see crew this year getting to the living wage, Ryan. So that for us is a bit of an issue, because as we know, next year inflation may go up and may go down.
No, fair enough. So what are your numbers, Craig?
For the yearly sort of wage?
Year one.
Yeah, for year one, I would like to see a lot higher than the sort of the.
Yeah, but what is the number? You said you had numbers.
Yeah, so without going into too much detail, Ryan, we're nearly there. So we would like to see cabin crew paid over the living wage, which is currently just over 60,000. So we think that cabin crew absolutely deserve a pay increase, and we'll be looking 62,000 plus, Ryan.
62,000. Okay, so what do you know what that is as a percentage? Like, how far are we from 4.1 to 6.4? How far are we from what they're offering in year one? How close are we to this thing being over and us getting back to
Yeah.
flying?
Oh, absolutely, Ryan. So I think we're very close. As Nikki's just said, we've got facilitated bargaining next, which I think both unions welcome that as well. It's an unbiased approach going into it. It's sort of what our members have put forward. And I think we will eventually reach an agreement, Ryan. So we're hoping that facilitated bargaining will have an acceptable outcome for both memberships and also
All right.
for the company.
So, Craig, the message from you this morning to people, to travellers, is we should get this, like, don't not book, because this facilitated bargaining thing is going to deal with it.
We hope we'll get there, Ryan. At the end of the day, we want New Zealanders to book with the national carrier. Our members absolutely adore, they love their jobs. They're the safety ambassadors of Air New Zealand, and also they represent New Zealand to the world. So absolutely book your flights with Air New Zealand. We want passengers to continue to have that exceptional service on board, but we just have to get through the next sort of couple of months with the negotiations that are currently taking place.
All right, Craig, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for being with me. Craig
Thanks,
Featherby,
Ryan.
Flight Attendants Association New Zealand.